Golly, fellas, it has been a long time since I've been behind the microphone, but I'm alive. A lot has happened in life. As everybody goes on this great journey together, everybody knows there's going to be twists, turns, ups, and downs. But I'm doing great, doing great. Playing a lot of Far Cry 4, as you all can tell by the recent uploads. And something that I've seen pretty lacking in the YouTube space, at least around all of these like badass stealth kill videos that you see from Stealth Gamer BR and guys like that, is they never really go into detail on how they get these runs and what they do, which leads to a lot of people speculating that they're using different tools, using like non-detection cheats, using this, that, and the other. And I just wanted to go through my process, some interesting statistics, and some things about South Kyrat that were, unique to my experience with my take on these kind of videos. So we're just going to go through minute by minute, second by second, and as we go through, I may pause and say some things. But to open things up, just some general stats for you. The fastest time, as you all can see, is here at the Shanath Training Ground, and I'm going to be mispronouncing a lot of words as the training grounds. The second longest was the Breeders' Travolta, which we'll get into here in a bit. My favorite clears were the Brick Shipping, Clinic 2, and Textiles, with an honorable mention of Training. My least favorites were Breeders by a long shot, followed by Terrace, followed by Treasures, and I'll get into the details on this as we go on. The longest time spent on quote-unquote getting the run was Breeders, and the shortest time was Training. So let's just get into it. So first things first, all of these were done on Outpost Master, and Outpost Master gives you a set spawn of enemies, making things semi-consistent. However, some enemy pathing was inconsistent. I think that was based on the time of day, and then just some other factors of like how much noise you've made, where you're at, where the enemies are at. Like, we'll see a good example here, so let's just play through the way station. And I wanted to start with a wingsuit on the first guy, but this guy inside would always hear me. Now you can even see from an above takedown that he turns around and gets inquisitive. Like, I couldn't do anything before he was alerted if I was doing a wingsuit. Like, he would full on alert. He would not just go into like a patrol phase or like a what the hell was that phase. He would just like straight up start signaling the alarm and all of the other enemies. So this guy here that's in the middle of the screen right now, there are some runs where he would be like way off to the side here, almost closer to the ladder. There are some runs where he would be inside as well. And again, I think that's based on the time of day or just like how fast I was moving. I'm not sure what the exact enemy movement patterns are for all of these, but this was like the ideal situation, is that he would be here and it would buy me some time to set up the next section of the outpost clear. That shot to the gut was totally unnecessary, but like I said, the guards would roam around randomly. In fact, sometimes that guard that was out here, or one of these guards, would be around the back of the building. The guy that's on the inside is typically stagnant. This guy was pretty stagnant. This guy over here wouldn't really move to set up the wingsuit kill, and then these two guys were always here with no variation. I think I've got capture cursor on. It would be really embarrassing if I don't. Here at the school, this is a great example of enemy inconsistency. And another factor that goes into play as well, also setting up for this ledge takedown here, I tried to do a lot of variance in these runs. Like, normal takedowns I tried to avoid, normal kills I tried to avoid, just trying to keep things as unique and fresh as possible, utilizing the takedown mechanics as much as I could. So when guards go into what I'll call a patrol state, like they're not alerted, they don't know where you are, but you just blew up two of their friends right there, they're going to start almost aimlessly wandering around, and it seems to be just at random. So I had to do this run over and over and over again until I could set it up that this guard analyzed the body, and then that guard was within range of the pistol takedown. I also pause on purpose here. You can shoot a lot earlier, but I pause just for swag and style, and you'll see that throughout the runs. That's a pretty long shot for a pistol too, so Ajay's nuts. So this is one of my least favorite outposts, mainly because it's just kind of flat terrain. There's no real good entry point for like a wingsuit takedown. There's not a lot of enemy variation, and I'll get into some statistics as we go on as well. But there just wasn't a lot of room for creativity. Like, yeah, you could get up into this house, and if you killed the guy on the truck first, you could do like maybe a double C4 kill or toss a mine out the window or something like that. But it just didn't really flow together. And I ended up with two of these runs where this is my least favorite part, where I have to hurdle up and then backstep and then do the takedown on the enemy. But the ending with the C4 was really what I was looking for. This guard is last alive, and all I have to do is just wait for the right time to blow him up. There's no gore in this game. However, enemies can do one of two things when they're blown up. If the explosion is far away from them but still kills them, they'll ragdoll. If the explosion is like right next to them, they'll just disappear into a pink mist. So I think both of these C4 kills were pink mist kills. Is that an ice cream truck? I don't think you all will be able to hear this on the mic, but I've never heard an ice cream truck in this neighborhood before. Alright, he's gone. Almost ran out there. This guard that I take down and drag him into the bushes is part, cool factor, and another part in one of the other guards that's on the front of the building will wander. You'll see him just in a second, and he can spot the body and then go into that inconsistent patrol mode where he could wander around and ruin the line that I'm trying to run here. The idea is to make sure that if I am going to do something that is going to alert the guards or get them into a patrol type of state, that they're going to be predictable or at least replicable, so I can get the run and try it over and over and over again. So I don't think that ruined the video. There may be a weird amount of overlap for like the first 8 minutes while I'm actually playing the video, but we're just going to send it. The manor here was pretty cool, and picking what entry point I used and when I actually started the video was intentional. There's actually a guard behind me that I killed last, and I chose to throw a rock to distract him but not show that on the video, so it looks a little more seamless. So there are some editing tricks that are being used, and this is just some guard abuse. Slap him with a rock, scare him, and then pull him over the ledge. But this guard that I'm about to take down, he can spot you if you're doing the pistol takedown into heavy takedown into bow shot, which was also inconsistent. And let me explain why some things in this game are inconsistent. So I'm going to try and put this in a way that makes sense, and I don't have a script, I'm just freeballing here. But Far Cry 3 and 4 both seem to have like animation delays or like movement like input delays. So like in a fighting game, for example, if your combo is XXY and you hit XXY really fast, then your character is going to have those moves buffered. So as soon as the first move finishes, the second move is going to happen immediately without the need for any other inputs. Far Cry is different to where if you were to do a takedown and then try and switch your weapon, like you're mashing Y during the takedown animation or right after, there is a delay, a noticeable delay, no less, before you can do any other action. So doing takedown into weapon swap into climb an object, you have to make sure that you're spaced out and that your timing is right so that everything looks smooth and seamless. If you do things too quickly or too optimally, then the game won't register those inputs and you can end up just standing there looking like a big dummy. Or in the case of like climbing, I wonder if I can get this frame. So like right here, yeah, perfect. So right here, it gives me the A climb prompt. By the way, sometimes you'll see a crouch indicator over here. That would randomly turn on and off and I wouldn't notice until the run was over. Also, I couldn't turn off the go from wingsuit to parachute or any sort of like takedown notifications here at the bottom. Like I don't know how to do a takedown, but the rest of the HUD I was able to turn off. But yeah, if this prompt wasn't here and I were to just jump, even if I turn the camera to get into the area or get into the hitbox to climb, Ajay still wouldn't climb. Or if he did, it would be a weird animation where I jump up and then the animation starts and it beams me back to the ground just to jump me back up. So part of this was optimizing and playing the game, I guess, the way that it wants to be played versus the way that I would want or prefer to play it. So we climb up here on top of the building, gorgeous view. And then this guard just doesn't know what hits him. By the way, the wingsuit takedowns are not something that the game teaches you and maybe isn't necessarily intended. In fact, I'm pretty positive that it's not intended, but it was in Far Cry 3 as well. You can take down enemies off of your parachute and off of your wingsuit. So if you're on controller, my cancel button would be X. So as I get close to the enemy and I hold X, if I don't land on the enemy, I die. And if I parachute at the wrong time and don't land on an enemy, I also die or just alert the guards and have to start another run. I'm going to reference my notes here real quick while this plays out, because I do have specific notes for all of these. Oh yeah, so right here at the end, you're not going to see a whole lot of bow play. Like you see a lot of these guys that shoot the explosive arrow up into the air and make it arc down, and they do a couple of actions while that is happening. You're going to see a lot of that in my North Kyrat video, but in this video, I didn't really explore that all that much. So this is just an alternate ending to the 7 treasures, where the guard takes longer to burn out, or I'm a little more optimal with my movement, so I can like just watch him do his thing, I guess. Also, you won't see a lot of, well, I don't think there's any parachute takedowns now that I think of it. You won't see any parachute takedowns in this video, mainly because it seems like the window is really tight, and it's also significantly more difficult to control the parachute versus the wingsuit. Like, once you get good at the wingsuit takedown, it's easy. It's super consistent. So yeah, this guard just takes a little bit longer to move on, so to speak. And so I get to walk over there and kind of watch the fireworks, pardon the pun. So going into shipping, let's see what I wrote for shipping. Oh yeah, going back to treasures. Another thing that I could do, let's see, is you can climb up onto this ledge here, I believe. I think it even gives me a prompt at one point. Yeah, so like I could climb up here and then do, for example, like an explosive arrow shot over this house, take out this guy, and all the while do a jump takedown here, a jump takedown there, and a knife throw here. So that could have been a way to make this more stylish. And if you'll have any input on little things that I could do, or even really big things. Like give me a paragraph for all I care. I'd love to eventually go back, maybe not even in the next 2 years, but at some point in my life, go back and do this all again because it was a ton of fun. All right, let's go to shipping. What I liked about shipping is that right off the rip, there's just 2 wingsuit takedowns back to back. If I had have dragged that guard after the second wingsuit kill, I could have done a knife throw takedown there. But as is, using the bow and a lot of different weapons was also part of my plan. I also really wanted to infiltrate the roof because there's this scaffold up here and a hole in the roof over by the ladder to where you can drop down. But for some reason, this guard would pretty much always alert, and then this guard would stand up and alert as well. I'm not sure if it's because of the material of the roof or what exactly is going on there, but they could hear my footsteps, and dropping onto that wood would just turn off the whole run. So I just decided to not do that and go after this last guard normally. Try and add a little bit of flair, throw a rock at his head, freak him out. And then this last guard, this took forever to set up, would be to throw my C4 in the right spot so that guard flies over the pile of cocaine and the forklift, just for some extra style points. Now storage, I had 2 or 3 different runs that I tried to decide on, but there's really no other spot in the outpost where I could set up what I'm about to do here. So that was a triple collateral, and that is half of the guards in this base in a single shot. And then finish it up with a ledge takedown, a normal takedown, and then styling on the sniper. So the sniper was my biggest bane, and I tried to not shoot enemies just from a distance and take them out of the equation. I wanted to, again, use the takedowns, use different weapons, do things like that, but this sniper was the bane of my existence, so I end him rightly with one of the coolest guns in this game, the elephant gun. What I like too is that you see him fly and I track him, but he's actually still there in the Outpost Master cutscene and slides off the roof. You couldn't have set that up. That was just luck. Breeder sucks. I have a tirade to go on about breeders. This is my least favorite base in South Kyrat. The whole base is centralized around the elephant pen. And yeah, you could free the elephant and just let the elephant do its thing, but that kind of defeats the purpose of what my goals were for this run. And here are my main gripes. 1, this is one of the only instances where a water takedown or a takedown from below is viable, but it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. I tried to fly off and go into the water, and then the guy that I grenade takedown later on, I did everything in my power to do a ledge takedown on him, or better yet, a water takedown, because those are super unique and very situational. I could get him to the pier, but could not get the prompt to take him down. And it just wouldn't happen. Oh, another thing too about that guy. Well, actually, we'll just talk about this guy first. I think that's one of my other gripes, is that you see here that I'm leaning around this ledge on purpose. I couldn't tell you how many runs of mine died because the takedown prompt is so finicky. Like, you're sitting right here and you're thinking, oh yeah, I can pull this guy over the chair and do the ledge takedown, no problem. Or even a normal takedown, like phase me through the chair, who cares, whatever. This game's 10 years old now. I think it is actually 10 years old now. But no, I have to shimmy around until I get just, I have to line it up in the most perfect way so I can get the takedown prompt and then actually get him. I failed so many runs just because that takedown is so finicky. So that guy that I just did the grenade takedown on, so if you're faster, and now I did have a run where I didn't do the above takedown, like wait for the guard to be in between the two flags, this guy will be standing on this animal crate. And this animal crate is a climbable object. It gives you the prompt. I stood under this guy for probably 10 minutes of my life that I'll never get back, trying every angle, every positioning of Aj, looking at him from different ways. And I think I got the takedown prompt down here for like 1 frame total out of 10 minutes of trying. Multiple attempts of doing all of that other stuff first so these guards wouldn't pester me. And then I get over here and I couldn't do a ledge takedown. Now, thankfully, I make up for that in North Kyrat. So you all can look forward to a lot of from below takedowns in North Kyrat, but just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Made me mad. My final gripe about this base is that there's a ton of waiting. So I'm sure that I could have routed it out so that it was just a lot faster, maybe with a little less variance. You know, I tried all sorts of things. This easily took me the longest amount of time out of that he was fast this time, but next time you'll see that he's not fast. But you have to wait about 8 seconds. I timed it from the time that you spawn in before you even start to wingsuit. So I've been standing here for roughly 7 seconds, and then I can wingsuit over and do the takedown on this hunter. It takes him 8 seconds to get into position, and then it takes another, probably let's time it together. So from the time I get onto the roof, let's just call it 12:30 to make things easy on us. We have to wait and I go for it now. We have to wait 13 seconds for this guard to be in position. And again, it's my least favorite base because of how I chose to take it down. There are definitely other ways to make this faster, but this is the way that I wanted to do it. And so there's 21 seconds of downtime for the most basic of takedowns, just to get 2 guards down, 21 seconds. And then the rest of it goes pretty smoothly. Except for the hunter at the end. So we've seen this before, so let's skip ahead. I do a jump takedown, grenade takedown, and the reason that I do that is when he blows up in the water, I set a mine there. Here's where things get tricky, is there's a hunter and one of the machete guys. I forget what they're actually called, but they can run in different directions. Both of them have gone to the left side of the building and have gone down to investigate the explosion. Some of them have run right at me and hit this mine. Sometimes they'll go through the house. In an optimal scenario, the hunter will run past me as I'm climbing up. I will take down the machete guy, and then he'll run into the mine. But this took so long on this run. Everything else went just fine. Perfectly acceptable. I even look around for the hunter to see if he's gone down there. I don't see him. So I guess he went through the house, and I managed to climb up and miss him. But I do a takedown on this guy, and you'd also think that that would be loud enough for the hunter to want to turn around and investigate. This guy walks all the way around the map. I think he goes down to the pier, and then he wanders all the way over here for some reason, and then comes all the way back. And I'm looking around. I'm standing in the middle of the base, and he's just nowhere to be found. And you can see him there. I hit the wrong button. I hope that didn't mess anything up. Yeah, so like you can see him here. So like he wanders down and then wanders like all the way back up over here. Why? This is so inconsistent. This is so frustrating. And finally, after an agonizing amount of time, he wanders into the mine for the clear. This is up there in my favorites. So you can do this base yourself in one attempt. So what you do is you snipe the hunter. I just take out the alert box just for fun. You can go straight from shooting him to shooting the explosive barrel. That turns everybody away from you. And then you can wingsuit take down the heavy. You run around the corner, do a jump takedown on the hunter, and then you pistol kill these three guys. So the reason why I did it like that is because of the speed run. So part of what I was going for here was as near perfection as I could get. So I didn't want Ajay to take damage. I didn't want him to fall on his face. I didn't want to do any botched climbing animations, nothing like that. So in this run, from first bullet to clear, I forget exactly what it is, but it's fast. You can do it like this. Sometimes the heavy will spot you and will alert the rest of the base. This time I just got lucky. You do a takedown, and I get pieced up here. I get shot at least 2 times, but you can clear this base in 15.7 seconds. Which is pretty tight. Now, Open Hearts Clinic, I had a really good time with, just because, I don't know, there's a lot of opportunity, and this was one of the only bases in South Kyrat that had a lot of verticality to play with. That's something that you'll see in North Kyrat, is that you've got more mountains, you've got more buildings with multiple levels. Like, this base is a great example of good outpost design in Far Cry 4, whereas something like, I don't know, I guess brick storage here. Brick storage has one building. It's like the whole base centralizes over the middle building, and all of the guards roam around that middle building except for one. So if you wanted to do something unique, you climb up onto one building, you take one guy down, and then it's just the big building in the middle. There's a lot more variation with smaller buildings, multi-leveled buildings in North Kyrat. Like some of these South Kyrat bases just blurred together. But I had a really good time with Open Hearts Clinic. Take down the heavy, do another wingsuit takedown, spin around, turn around, boot scoop boogie, however that song goes. Get down, turn around, the boot scoop buggy. It's almost a shame, too, now that I'm thinking about it, that I use so many primary weapons, but hardly do I ever actually shoot them. Like, this is one of those bases where I only use takedowns, except for, I think, a sniper shot and then the harpoon. But this gun's so cool. Like, in a perfect world, I could have done that with a pistol, but I play on controller. I'm no god. So I use the sniper instead. What made me want to show you all this is this shot right here. Like, I'm crouched, and you can see just this much of this guy's head. Just this much. And he's working on spotting you. Like, he is looking right at you. And so to get this shot really quick and then immediately go into this ledge takedown was enough for me to really consider including this. And I had multiple cleared runs of all of the bases. I'm showing you my favorite ones, and also the opinions of my friends, and also a little throwback to the, I guess 2012 is relevant, the 360 trick shot era. Brings me back to the Modern Warfare 2 days, jumping off of that high-rise building. Of course, the title gives it away, with a double harpoon kill, but I actually did not know that the harpoon has either penetrating properties to where it can actually pierce through an enemy and go into another enemy, or, and I think this is more likely, is that the ragdoll is so fierce off of the harpoon that it takes out this guy sitting in the cage. So, like, it hits him, and he flies back and hits this guy, and he dies too. Like, it's almost like his body hit the cage with such force that it killed this guy, or the harpoon went straight through him. I mean, I choose to believe that guard number 1 killed guard number 2 with his body versus the harpoon. Another interesting thing about the ledge takedown is that he was sitting on the chair. I activated the takedown pretty close to him, and so it sees the chair and the table as a ledge takedown object, and it phased him forward. So he's here, and then he's here. He's basically in the wall. So there's some funny business with specifically the ledge takedown. I wonder if I've got any more notes about Open Heart. This one, because I didn't have the 3-story 360 takedown, I just do like a little, I think I managed to do a 180. I cranked my sensitivity for these videos past a point of absurdity for my comfort level, just so I could do goofy stuff like this. Like, you know, just spin around. I forget what's different about this one. Oh yeah, I remember. So this all happens the same, and now it's like thunderstorming outside of my house. Hopefully you all can't hear that in the mic. I don't think you'll be able to. But this time, I'm a little fast, and that guard hasn't walked around the corner yet. So I do the ledge takedown first, and I'm prepped with the harpoon. I went back too far. I'm prepped with the harpoon. I go over that, shoot him with the harpoon, and that sends him back towards this enemy, and that gets him into patrol mode. So, like, imagine that you're this guy, right? And all of a sudden, you're just cleaning the animal cage. All of a sudden, a guy that you saw walk over here just violently flings backwards to here. At least you don't have to think about it for too long, because Aj just styles on you and moves on. Textiles is another pretty good clear. Now this one is unique in that it's one of the South Kyrat maps that has a lot of verticality. So you can climb on this, you can climb up on top of the 2-story building, you can climb over here, you can climb over here. So you actually spawn way in the front of the base. So I would run all the way around and up onto a little hillside so I could jump in and do a takedown on this guy. If you went from the front, you would basically have to hit this guy, 1, 2, sniper, this guy, and then you've got the dog to deal with. And dogs are so annoying. Dogs have no set path. They will wander wherever they want. Just literally wherever they want. I found no consistent way to set up the dogs. And you'll see it more in North Kyrat that I have to just danger close and use a bunch of explosives a vast majority of the time, because there's just no way to predict them. And I'll show you some examples, or I guess I can't really show you, but I'll point out where they are. And if you try this for yourself, then you'll know. So sometimes, if I'm remembering the right base, sometimes the dog will hang out in this area here and then wander around here with or without a guard. Sometimes I'll wander up with a guard. Thankfully, in this run, he was all by himself over there where none of these other guards were. Sometimes he would be just hanging out over here, hanging out here in the middle. He would walk up here and disappear out of like a general line of sight. And sometimes he would be on this guy's hip. It was totally random. So I did a lot of runs and eventually just said, forget it, I'm gonna snipe the dang thing, so I don't have to worry about it. Like, wherever he's at, I'm just gonna snipe him. And then if this guy saw that happen, by the time that he got alerted, in a perfect world, this would happen. I knife throw this guy. What I could have done here as well, but out of fear of alerting this guard, I didn't, is that you can run and jump off of just small objects like this and get aerial takedowns, which looks really slick. This is a silly thing to say, but I actually think that's tied to your field of view. Like, for some reason, when your field of view is as pulled back as I am, it's not that you get more height. That may be frame based, like how many frames you're running the game at, but I also think it may be FOV related. I don't know. Maybe that's just maybe that's silly and that's not really how it works. But I found myself being able on smaller and smaller objects to trigger jump takedowns versus when I played these games 10 years ago on the Xbox 360 and was stuck at whatever the base FOV was, like 30 or something, whatever. 30, 60, 90, cheeseburger, french fry, macaroni. This guy also gets pulled over the table. So he phases through the table just so I can take him down on the other side instead of the chair. I wonder if I'm missing any notes. Mainly it's just about the mortar here at the end, and I already talked about the dog, so I'm just going to let this one play out. And I tell you what, while we're setting this up, here's some statistics for you. Out of all of the bases, and I'm just going to go ahead and pause this. I probably won't show this on screen, but out of all of the bases, including the duplicates, so duplicates being like Open Hearts 2 and 3, Training Ground 2, Breeders 2, I think those are the only ones. Oh, Seven Treasures 2. All of those combined, there were 20, I did 25 normal kills. So what I consider to be normal kills were with a gun, with a throwing knife, with a special weapon. I included like the elephant gun, pretty much anything outside of a takedown. 25 of those, which equated to 20.8% of the kills in this video. If we take the duplicates out, the normal kills is 22.8%. And then I'm just going to rattle these off. Normal takedowns was 10% of the time with duplicates, 12.7% of the time without duplicates. Above was 20% and 19%. Ledge takedowns, I don't mean like from below, but pulling somebody through a window or pulling somebody over a ledge, was 13.3 and 12.7% of the time. Wingsuit takedowns were 15.8 and 15.2. Knife throw takedowns were 13.3 and 11.4. Pistol takedowns were 5.8 and 5.1. Grenade takedowns were 1.7 and 2.5. The quirk about the grenade takedown is that I used the grenade takedown once in the start of the video, and then I use it again in Breeders, and I put like a half a tick for that for a fish in the water. So that is the only part of this that is skewed. I am not a mathematician, nor this is a goofy video about a 10-year-old game about me clearing out bases and getting way too statistical and in-depth for no reason at all. So it's my graph, damn it. I'm going to do what I want to do with it. I used no chain takedowns in the video. In fact, I only had one opportunity for a chain takedown, and that was at the beginning here. That is maybe my one regret in life on this earth, is that I didn't chain take down that guy. Let's see. So those were all the takedowns. In terms of normal enemies, and I'm actually going to play the video now for you. Out of all of the enemies, 78.3% of them and 82.3% of them were what I just call normal enemies. So that could be the guy with the machete that has the lightning bolt over his head, or just the normal guy. The only outliers that I actually listed and felt were worth listing was heavies, hunters, and snipers. Heavies we saw 0.5% of the time, or 3.8% of the time. 6 kills and 3 kills with and without dupes. We saw 15% of hunters, 11.4% without dupes, and we saw 0.02% of snipers or 2.5% snipers across the entire video. The total guards were 120 with duplicates, 79 without duplicates, which was an average of 6.58 guards per base. And my total time with duplicates was 18 minutes and 28 seconds with an average clear of 1 minute and 1 second. My total minus duplicates was 11 minutes and 51 seconds, with my average clear being 59 seconds. So just under a minute were my average clear times if I didn't include any duplicate takes. Not much to say about Brewery. Personally, I think that this map was tragically bad, and its layout was just really boring. So the best way for me to spice it up was, I wonder if you spawn like over here. And so I would run all the way around, climb up a grapple point, and then get here so I could set up these takedowns. Another way that I did this is that I would either ledge or normal take down the hunter over here. I think I would actually stand on the bottom part of this roof so these two guards wouldn't see me. Jump off the roof, knife throw, and then get back onto the roof. And these two guards, well, I guess I'll get there when I get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just excited. These two guards, if you wait long enough, will separate. This guard will wander back to this area and I guess like sit on the steps or lean on the steps, and this guard will wander into this house. If you're standing up here, you can do probably the longest jump takedown. I won't say in the game because I'm sure that there's better ways to set that up. But if you fall for too long in this game, like for example, this fall, if you don't land on somebody, will trigger like a hard fall animation. And I think it's also triggered by distance as well. So this is sloping downward. This is kind of like the perfect setup to where you jump and you've got a decent distance here, and then as you fall in a line with the ground, so you never hit that trigger point to do just a hard fall, like land flat on your face instead of taking down the enemy. Another thing too is you have to jump just to the left of this object. So when you get over this object, it also doesn't have enough distance to trigger a hard fall, and you basically scrape your toes on this little stair step here, just barely clear it, and can land on this enemy, this guy. I don't do that though, because this last guy, he roams in a big circle around the map, and I just couldn't do anything interesting with him if I waited for these guards to move. Also, it was like another 10, even 15 seconds of downtime before they actually got into position. So that was annoying. Instead, I do a knife throw and a little ledge takedown. Just yank this guy. I actually could have thrown a knife through the wall there if I was mashing RT. That's another quirk of the game, is that like if you were to take down an enemy here or like right here where half of his body is obstructed by the wall, you could still, if you could just see a pixel of this dude's elbow or his butt cheek, you could get the prompt RT over his head to knife throw, and you can knife throw through walls. You can knife throw through buildings, you can knife through trees, you can do all sorts of weird stuff. But I didn't do that because, again, I wanted this to be as stylish and cool as possible. Not that I think that any of this is cool. Like we're watching a 10-year-old video game right now. But you call the papers. Yeah, I'm the coolest guy on earth. Not really. So this is the only time in this video that I actually mess around with the explosive arrow. It's going to hit this like moonshine station, and I don't think it's the base explosion of the arrow that kills this guard. It's that the moonshine station detonates and kills the guard. But this is about as close to the stealth gamer BR, you know, Clockner, all of those super cool dudes that play games super cool and seamlessly. This is about as close to like a kill that they would do, I feel like. The rest of this stuff was just like a homebrew Magic the Gathering deck. But cool to me. So yeah, it lands right in the middle, blows up, and then that's the video. So I'm going to make sure I don't have any other statistics for you. I think I read out all of them and some of my gripes and thoughts, and this was just overall super fun. As we go into North Kyrat, as you can see over here, it's already up. I'll see about doing another one of these commentary videos in the future. I might just record these back to back. But sometimes getting behind the I was about to say camera. Sometimes getting behind the microphone just cringes me out. So I try to avoid it, and I definitely avoid it while my wife is home, just because that just like adds another layer of cringe. She knows that I do this. Hi, Scarlett, but you know, it's one of those things. All right, y'all. Until next time, maybe until 2025. Be safe out there. See ya.